everybody. The call-in number, 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. I'm your host, Dr. Peter Glidden. Check me out 24/7 on the web, fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. My colleague, Dr. Wallach, and I are the only licensed medical professionals in the world who are standing up on a soapbox as frequently as possible, with a bullhorn as frequently as possible, on the radio as frequently as possible, in front of small groups, in front of large groups, in newspaper, in print, in blogs, you name it, in books, saying, fire your MD. The problem that we have with medicine is not an out-of-control for-profit runaway medical system. It is not an out-of-control for-profit runaway insurance system. It is not an out-of-control for-profit runaway pharmaceutical industry. All of these things, of course, are helping the problem to get bigger and bigger. But the root cause of the healthcare crisis that we are experiencing in the United States is the 1 billion pound gorilla in the middle of this country, in the middle of this planet, for goodness sake, that nobody sees except Dr. Wallach and myself and a handful of longevity distributors. The simple fact that MD-directed, pharmaceutical-centrist, allopathic, reductionistic medical treatments for chronic disease do not work. They don't work. We are throwing good money after bad, giving any hospital, any MD allopathic teaching university, any research facility that's run by MDs, our money. We've thrown $1 trillion at cancer, and what have we gotten for it? Nada. Bum kiss. You know, the advocates of cancer treatment say, well, cancer, breast cancer, for instance, we've been able to increase the life expectancy of patients with breast cancer. Well, how do you do that? You hack the breast off. Well, that's a good idea. You haven't been able to do a thing to decrease the occurrence of breast cancer. Even though in 1997, an article was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association that showed that the mineral selenium, 1998, showed that the mineral selenium reduces the occurrence of breast cancer by 82%. And that's a huge number, 82%. So why wasn't more research spilled into selenium in medical nutrition? Because there is no money in it, and the medical industry in the U.S. is a for-profit medical system. It is based on profits, not results. And look, you know, it's a free country. If you're happy with the status quo of your doctor, and a lot of people, you know, in the oldest generation on this planet, I'm 53 years of age, a lot of people in my parents' generation, in the World War II generation, people that are over 75 years of age, they're quite happy and content because they don't know any better, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. They're happy to, you know, be adding one prescription medication to their armamentarium every 6 months. They're happy to give the MDs exorbitant amounts of money in medical insurance every month, just in the hopes that they're going to be helped by these knuckleheads at some point in the future. You cannot teach an old dog new tricks. So if you don't want to believe that there's a problem, if you want to have blinders on, if you're happy with the status quo of your health care, God bless you, and good luck with that one. However, if you know in your heart, if you know in your mind, if you know in every fiber of your being, just by taking a breath, taking a pause, and looking inside, that there must be a different way, there must be a better way, there must exist somewhere science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery delivered by licensed physicians, there are. And that's what this radio show is about. And that's what Dr. Wallach does 300 days out of the year. Goes all around this country lecturing for free, spreading this message. By the way, Dr. Wallach and myself and a handful of other longevity superstars are going to be in Baltimore this weekend Going to be in Baltimore Saturday giving a gigantic free lecture. We're expecting over 3,000 people in Baltimore this Saturday. And this is how we're going to change the world, by generating a grassroots coalition of the informed. So if you like what you're hearing on this radio show, tell your friends and family members about it. And by the end of business tomorrow, there's going to be an app on my website that you'll be able to download for your Android or your iPhone. So you can just dial in the archives of this radio show or the live broadcast of this radio show from your iPhone. Not bad. Spread the message. Help us to spread the message of health care reform, right? Self-care reform, that Matt Owens from upstate New York likes to call it. Self-care reform. It's a great phrase. That's what we do here. We show people the light of medical nutrition. We drag people into the light of medical nutrition. Sometimes kicking and screaming, but they always like the results. And even though people will put up a big fight in the beginning, most of the time, 2 weeks into the therapeutic, they're feeling a little sheepish, and 1 month into the therapy, they're 100% on our side. And 3 months into the treatment, guess what? They've become a longevity distributor, and they're starting to spread the word. And that's how we're going to change the world. Because there's no way we can go through the front door. We have to go through the back door by generating a grassroots coalition of the informed. So, I was listening to this station right before the show, and Chick-fil-A's in the news, right? Chick-fil-A, the owner of Chick-fil-A, got caught making statements against, gay marriage and this, that, and the other thing, and whatever floats your boat. But what nobody's mentioning, what nobody's talking about, what everybody needs to be talking about is that Chick-fil-A, Kentucky Fried Chicken, all these places that give fried food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner are killing people, and they should be outlawed. Colonel Sanders has been dead for 30 years, and he's still killing people. Fried food contains a chemical called acrylamide, and acrylamide is extremely dangerous and harmful to the body. It's right up there with tar and nicotine. As a matter of fact, they're going to start putting warning labels on fried food in Europe the same way that we put them on cigarettes in the United States. That's how bad it is. And if you look at a map of the United States, a demographic of where in this country people, the demographic of longevity, county by county, not state by state, county by county, when you look at it county by county, the people with the shortest life expectancies in the United States all live in the South. The vast majority of the shortest lived people in the United States are in the South. Why is this? Does everybody in the South have a bad gene? Well, that's what your MD wants you to believe. Does everybody in the South have some type of voodoo curse? Well, no. Does everybody in the South have different prescription medications that are available to them? No. Do they have different medical insurance policies? No. Do they have differently trained medical doctors or different medical facilities to go to for treatment? No. Everything is exactly the same. That's one of the great things about the USA. Of course, the richer you are, the more comfortable you're going to be in the hospital. But quite frankly, the richer you are, the more of a walking ATM machine you are to the medical profession. I know a number of very wealthy individuals that have become patients of mine. And to see what the medical profession has done to them just because, they have all the money in the world, it's unbelievable. You are an ATM machine to the MD-directed, allopathic, pharmaceutical centrist, medical monopoly juggernaut that is rolling through this great country of ours. Now, to get back to the longevity thing in the United States, the only thing that's different in the South, the only thing that's different is that in the South, if they could, they'd fry water. That's just part of their deal. Fried food is a way of life in the southern states. It always has been, and it always will be. Well, it hasn't always been. The Native Americans didn't fry anything. The local Indian tribes living down there didn't fry anything. This is a holdover from slavery. Slavery. Hundreds of years of slavery, because the slave owners would give the slaves table scraps just to keep them barely alive. And If you deep fry a table scrap, it's going to taste good. For goodness sake, you could deep fry a leather boot and it would taste good. Deep fry a rock, it's going to taste good. Whatever, you fry something, it tastes good. So that's where the whole thing started, ironically, through slavery, the outcome of slavery. That's a whole other story, right? I was listening to an interview by Kurt Vonnegut right before he died on the John Daly Show, and he was giving a really nice exposition of the evolution of the United States, right? In order to have a great democracy, what do you need to do? Well, first you need to come in and commit genocide on the local population, kill off all the Indians. Then you have to build the infrastructure of the country and the financial infrastructure of the country and the mechanical infrastructure of the country through slavery. Then you have to put children to work, and then you have to not let women vote. And if you do all these things, you're going to have a fantastic democracy. Well, guess what? That's what we've done. And now those chickens are coming home to roost, because if you live in the South, as a direct result of the horrible epidemic of slavery, you eat fried food without even thinking about it. It's just a way of life. And this is why people in the South have the shortest life expectancies of anybody in the U.S. Fried food will kill you. I don't even want my patients to be downwind of fried food. That's how bad it is. And we take it 2 steps further. We advocate, number 1, no deep frying. Number 2, no cooking with any oil at all. So no more stir-frying vegetables in a wok. And number 3, I don't even want you to put oil on salad. We are 100% oil-free. 100% oil-free. And if you follow our advice, eliminating the 10 bad foods from your diet, oil being one of them, fried food being another, you will experience, just from dietary changes, no nutritional supplementation, just from dietary changes, remarkable, noticeable, and measurable improvements in your health. And by eliminating fried foods, you will automatically add 5 to 10 years to your lifespan. By the way, I still do private consultations, private health consultations with people all over the world. You don't have to travel to Chicago where I live. As a matter of fact, I only do health consultations over the phone or through Skype. I talk to people in Trinidad. I talk to people in El Salvador. I talk to people in Korea, South Korea, by the way. Talk to people all over the place all the time, because there are only a handful of licensed physicians like myself who have a clue, who have more than 20 years of clinical experience, and who know what to do to help you recover your health. So if you'd like a private consultation, just give my folks a call and set it up. It's easy as pie, 855-347-3696. The easier way, though, is by something that we call self-care reform. I love that phrase, Matt, self-care reform. If you're interested in learning how to help yourself recover your health on your own through a little home study class, go to fireyourmdnow.com and hit the subscribe button. You will have at your fingertips a wealth of information that you can use to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and enable you once and for all to fire your MD. All right, enough of that. We're going to go right to the phones now. Looking for Neil, who's calling from Florida. Neil, it's your time with Dr.
Yeah, hi,
Glidden.
Dr. Glidden.
Yeah.
I've got a situation where I'm totally baffled. It's been going on for about 8 years, and I've been to about 7 doctors, and nobody has a clue. Basically what happened about 8 years ago, I woke up and out of the blue was like incredibly weak. I could barely walk, a half a block. I had to actually eat and eat and eat just to have energy to get up the next day. I'd have to have salami and cheese at night. And it took, for about 3 months we thought I was dying. But went to every doctor under the sun. Nobody could figure it out. They finally said maybe it's a virus, and we can't do anything about that. So, at any rate, I got myself exercising little by little, got back to sort of a normal life. But I'm still kind of in a position where I don't have enough stamina, and if I don't eat exactly when I need to eat, I can sometimes get very weak all of a sudden. So you can imagine I'm not fat and I'm 64 years old, but I'd like to lose about 10 pounds, but it's kind of hard when you have to eat all the time and you can only exercise a certain amount.
Got it.
And,
all right. Are you currently taking any prescription meds?
No medicine, no. Once in a while I'll take, Tylenol, but I try to stay away from even that.
All right, and you haven't been definitively diagnosed with anything else like high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes or sleep apnea or nothing else, right?
Yeah, none of that. In fact, one time when I was back 8 years ago, I was so weak I thought I was going to pass out. And I went to the emergency room and they took my blood sugar level at the time. I thought it was going to be terrible, but they said it was normal, so that was baffling.
Very interesting. Do you ever, conversely, find yourself getting sleepy after you have a meal?
I get sleepy frequently because I'm self-employed and nobody's forcing me to work. So
yeah, but is it related to eating? I mean, is it, like pretty much guaranteed that within 45 minutes of eating a certain amount of food you're going to get sleepy or not so much?
No, I don't think so. I think it just happens a little later in the day, not generally after I eat.
Okay, good. And what about in the middle of the night, Neil? Do you wake up in the middle of the night after a few hours sleep and you're wide awake, or are you sleeping through the night?
Usually sleep pretty well. Sometimes I'll wake up 4 o'clock, but I'll fall asleep within an hour again.
Okay. And what time do you go to bed normally?
About 11:30.
All right, so you get 5 hours of sleep. That's pretty good. Now, in the morning when you wake up to start your day, do you wake up naturally or do you wake up by an alarm clock?
Naturally.
And when you wake up naturally in the morning, how do you feel?
I usually feel good, but it depends. If I didn't eat enough late enough in the day, I'll be kind of weak in the morning till I have breakfast. Yeah,
fascinating. All right, what's your blood type? Do you know?
Don't know, but I do know I have slightly low blood pressure.
Yeah.
Still in the safe zone, and I have.
But you don't know if you're blood type A or B or O or whatever, right?
No, they never told me that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's the deal. When it comes to strange, undiagnosed sets of symptoms like this, the first, second, and third thing that we do is fall back on the fundamental holistic naturopathic belief that the human body has the ability to maintain and regulate its own health if it has all of the raw materials that it needs. So on the other side of the break, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do this. From my point of view, you've got chronic fatigue, buddy, and you don't have chronic fatigue because you have a virus. You have chronic fatigue because you went to 7 of the wrong doctors. Your body is completely nutritionally starved. We're going to go right back with Neil. Neil, are you still with me?
Still here.
All right, good man. So, the interesting thing about your case, Neil, and, certainly, let's be honest, the only way that you're going to know that this is a correct position from my point of view is if you follow my advice and it works. That's the only way you're going to know that what I'm about to tell you is correct or not, okay? So bear with me for just a second, because we're all about results here. But the simple fact of the matter is that the MDs, for all of their highfalutin expensive education, for all of their posturing, for all of their social cachet, for all of their heightened elevated status that they, have in the United States, don't know the fundamental premise of all health. And I cannot enforce this enough. Now, people say that I bash MDs all the time. Well, I only bash MDs some of the time. What I do most of the time is just pull back the curtain and show people the way that it is. I don't have to bash the MDs. They do it all by themselves all the time. For goodness sake, they are the leading cause of death in the United States. But I digress. So my point is that for all of their highfalutin education, for all of their social status and everything that we afford them here in the United States, they completely miss out on the fundamental premise of all health. They are like colorblind art critics. Because MDs, they're not really trained in healthcare. They're not. They're trained in the application of pharmaceutical medicines, and they're trained in, diagnostic techniques. That's what they're trained in. They're basically salesmen for diagnostic techniques and prescription medicines. That's what they are. They're not really doctors anymore. You know, the exception to this rule, of course, would be emergency room docs, people that are working in ambulances, people that are working in emergency rooms, people that are working in military field hospitals, and surgeons. These people actually do perform services which are beneficial and helpful. But an MD with a general family practice or a cardiac specialist or an arthritis specialist, give me a break. They are completely blind to the fundamental premise of healing. And the fundamental premise of healing is that the human body contains a built-in, God-given ability to self-regulate and fix itself. It does. For goodness sake, our bodies grew themselves all by themselves from a single-celled organism into the magnificent manifestation of us. Our bodies regulate billions of enzymatic activities, billions of neurological synapse firings every day, completely without our conscious input or control. Our bodies have a lot going on all the time, and they are driven by an innate intelligence. So, interestingly enough, paradoxically enough, healing is easy. Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. Why is healing easy? Because all we need to do, most of the time, is give the body the stuff, the raw materials that it needs to take care of itself, and it takes care of itself. Why? Because it can, and it wants to. So, the prescription for health for you, and anybody else, quite frankly, that's been given, a strong and persistent set of symptoms without a definitive diagnosis. And, if you keep going back to these guys long enough, they're going to tell you it's all in your head and you need to see a shrink.
Right, well, forget that.
Yeah, okay. Well, but, so I'm glad that you called me instead. But that's another thing to talk about real quick here, because the thing about that is, one of the things that I hate about these guys the most is that they are of the inclination that when their diagnostic abilities fail, or when their therapeutics fail, instead of turning the mirror on themselves and taking a look at their methodology, they blame the patient. This is how full of themselves and how much hubris they have. Oh, you have to be, you're a mental case. Oh, it can't be my fault. It's got to be a mysterious virus, right? It's a mysterious virus. Or, oh, it's genetic, right? They charge you $500 an hour and then give you some baloney. And quite frankly, we need to hold their feet to the fire. But everything that I'm saying, Neil, is only going to have substance if, after what I tell you to do, you recover your health. I think we can both agree on that. So let me tell you what to do right now, okay?
Okay, got my pencil.
All right, good. So what's your body weight, current body weight?
166.
All right. So here's what I'd like you to do. Once a month, I'd like you to buy these products, if they're in your budget, every month for 3 months. I want you to do this program for 90 days in a row. Okay. And look to see how you feel. Now, most people, it's not going to be like you go 89 days and you don't feel anything, and then on the 90th day you wake up and it's a miracle cure. It's not like that. It's like watching ice melt in the springtime, or conversely watching a flower grow. So when you're doing the right therapy, whoever delivers it, I don't care if it's a shaman in Brazil, if it's the Surgeon General of the United States, or if it's Dr. Wallach or Dr. Glidden, when you're doing the right stuff, you feel better incrementally. So, we're going to give the program 90 days. But inside of that 90-day window, I'm going to expect that you're going to notice measurable improvement within 14 days that will then build on itself. All right, so here's how we're going to do it. First things first, you need to eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. And you can get that list for free just by going to Fire Your MD Now, signing up for the mailing list, give me your email address and your name, and we automatically send you the list of 10 bad foods and a video that explains why they're bad, and it gives you a little bit of more education about that, okay? So that's easy to do. You need to eliminate the 10 bad foods that are on that list. For the next 90 days, Neil, I don't even want you to look at those foods, let alone eat them, okay? 100% abstinence from those foods. No cheating, okay?
Okay.
And it's not that hard, number one. Number two, for supplementation, per month, I would purchase one healthy start pack, okay, 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals. And 1 bottle of D-Stress. D like David Stress. Right?
Plant-derived
minerals. Yeah,
okay,
that's a liquid.
Mm-hmm.
D-Stress. D like David Stress.
And how many bottles of that?
1.
1 bottle.
Right.
Okay.
Now, to calculate the dosage of the capsules, you add up how many capsules you have, divide that by 30, and that's how many you take each day.
Okay.
So if there's 60 in the bottle, divided by 30, that's, 2. You take 2 a day. And you want to spread the capsules out. So if you're taking 2 capsules a day, take 1 twice a day.
Okay.
If you're taking 6 capsules a day, take 3 capsules twice a day or 2 capsules 3 times a day, like that.
Mm-hmm.
The liquid supplements, the plant-derived minerals, is a liquid supplement, and I would like you to take 1 ounce of that in the morning. 1 ounce in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that has a very unique taste to it. Some people, like Dr. Wallach, drinks it straight. I can't drink it straight. It has a very kind of metallic taste to it, because guess what? It's loaded with minerals. You can add that to a smoothie or to fruit juice or whatever you want to make it taste better, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, there's 2 other supplements that are into the mix here that are liquids. One of them is a white liquid calcium. It's called OsteoFX Plus, OsteoFX Plus. I want you to take 1 ounce of the OsteoFX Plus in 3 or 4 ounces of orange juice immediately before bed. Immediately before bed. So throw that down, shoot it down like, a shot. Brush your teeth, get into bed, just like that, okay?
Okay.
And I want you to put it in orange juice, because it will facilitate the absorption of it. Now, the last thing on the list is one of the best nutritional supplements I have ever seen. And I am not exaggerating or using hyperbole when I say that. I've been doing this for over 24 years clinically. And I've seen vitamins made by companies that most people don't even know exist, because there's a whole bunch of vitamin companies that just sell to physicians, right? You can't even get that stuff over the counter. And I've had exposure to all of them for the last 23 years. This next supplement that I'm about to describe, it's called Beyond Tangy Tangerine, is the best all-around nutritional supplement I have ever seen. It is freaking fantastic, and it is the result of about 5 years of research and development, because the form that this stuff is in, it's a microcrystalline powder, right? It's a multivitamin, multi-mineral, multi-antioxidant, multiple amino acid supplement, and to put all of that stuff, and it has 117 fruits and vegetables in it. It's jam-packed, man. And to get all of that stuff in a powder that's stable and that doesn't stratify and that doesn't clump up over time, I mean, it was a feat of technological brilliance when they figured out how to make this stuff, and it took 5 years to do it. So the product is called Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Okay.
I didn't name it. I think it's a stupid name, but it's the next generation of another supplement called Tangy Tangerine, right?
Okay.
So it's called Beyond Tangy Tangerine, right? Like Beyond the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it's the new and improved one.
And new and improved, right?
One question. Should I...
let me tell you how to take it, all right?
Oh, sure, sorry.
I want you to do 1 scoop. 1 scoop. It's a red powder. 1 level scoop in 16 ounces of water. 16. I want you to measure them. 16 ounces of water 3 times a day. And I want you to take at least an hour to drink it down each time. So put 1 level scoop in 16 ounces and sip from it over the course of an hour, and I want you to do that 3 times a day.
Okay.
Now, parenthetically, you could put 3 scoops in 48 ounces, a big bottle, and sip from that all day long if that's easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
But you have to dilute it enough, and you have to drink it really slowly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's all you need to do. You need to clean your diet up, eliminate those 10 bad foods, take these nutritional supplements every day, like your life depended on it, and then look to see what happens to your energy. And if this is spot on, you should notice a measurable improvement within 21 days.
couple of quick questions. While I'm doing this, should I forget about taking any of the other vitamins I take?
Yeah, man, because number one, they're not doing any good, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be calling me.
You're right, but I don't know how bad I'd get if I stopped.
No. All right, well, that's a good point. That makes you the smartest man in class, because and you're right, because when it comes to medical nutrition, the dosage is everything, and the formula and the recipes are everything. And if you're not taking enough, it ain't going to work.
Yeah, okay.
One of the beautiful things about this particular protocol is that it provides 100% of the essential nutrient needs that your body has every day. So when you're taking this combination of supplements, you don't need anything else.
Good.
And my colleagues and I did a little comparison. We went to a health food store and figured out how many individual nutrients we would need to purchase just to give us what's in that one bottle of Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It was like 17 bottles of stuff, man. This is a jam-packed, really good therapy. Give it a try. You're going to love how you feel, and I want you to call me back in 4 weeks. Let's go back to the phones with Marty. Marty, it's your time with Dr. Glidden.
Okay, this is super. Dr. Glidden, I'm calling for a potential client. And what would you suggest for a 63-year-old woman diagnosed with fibromyalgia, heart disease, neurocardiac syncope, left sponge branch block, high blood pressure, and cholesterol over 500? She has had 2 heart attacks, 2 TIAs, 2 strokes caused by Packard something, blood pressure medicine she took for 5 years. She has arthritis and has had a hip replacement. She has severe constipation and was born without sweat glands. She is on prescription drugs, has many allergies as well as other drug allergies. She has asthma. For 2 years, she has been on a regime of organic vitamins. She takes half a cup of apple cider daily. She is 5'3", 130 pounds. Okay, pal, go for it.
Well, why
I have my pen and paper. And we're at the head of the class because we called before we ordered stuff.
All right, good girl. So give me something easy, why don't you? For goodness sake. Look, here's what I want you to realize about this, and this is so big, and this is staring you so much in the face that you miss it, and so does she. This woman has been suffering her entire life. For goodness sake, she's got fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. She's had a stroke. She has arthritis. She has lifelong constipation, allergies, and asthma. And she keeps going to the MDs, who have nothing for her. Nothing for her. Nothing for her. She keeps going to them, just like everybody else in this country. When is it going to be enough? When is it going to be enough? When are we going to hit the wall and say, enough is enough, I am sick and tired, and I am not going to take it anymore? Well, thank God she met you. Thank God you're in her life. Thank God for longevity. Because if it wasn't for us, and if it wasn't for you, and it wasn't for this network of the informed, this woman would be toast. She's getting close to being toast right now. She's in the toaster right now. It's not pretty. All of these conditions, 100% of these conditions that she is suffering from are derived from directly, not indirectly, directly the result of chronic nutrient deficiencies. Chronic, undiagnosed nutrient deficiency. For goodness sake, she doesn't have a hip, she doesn't have a titanium hip deficiency, right? She doesn't have a high blood pressure medication deficiency. She doesn't have an arthritis pain medication deficiency. But that's what the MDs want her to believe. The MDs want her to believe once she's sick, she's screwed, and there's nothing she can do except cut it out or medicate it into submission. I am mad as heck, and I am not going to take it anymore. So here's what we're going to do initially. We're going to give her really straightforward, fundamental medical nutrition for 90 days, 90 days. We're going to see what gets better. We're going to see what still needs help. And then after 90 days, we're going to march in and clean it up. So here's what I want to do for the first 90 days. She has to be on the good food, bad food diet. She has to eliminate those 10 bad foods. If she does not do that, this will not work. All right? So, number one. Number two, one healthy bone and joint pack. One healthy bone and joint pack per month. 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium per month. 1 extra bottle of Glucogel at the 240 count per month.
Okay.
And 1 extra bottle of EFA at the 180 count. EFA at the 180 count. All right?
Okay.
Now, a nice thing to round this all out, and we have less than a minute here, would be 1 bottle of the plant-derived minerals. 1 bottle of the plant-derived minerals. Okay, just add that into the mix. Give her that program for 90 days and watch the magic happen. She's going to start to feel better incrementally, like watching the sun rise in the morning, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your membership. Thank you for your dedication to your friends, your family, your church members, and your community members, because you, Marty, are the last best hope they have to live a long, healthy, wealthy life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. You found me here at Fire Your MD Now. I'll see you tomorrow.